This is a place.
This is the place?
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Thank you for listening to This is a Place podcast. My name is Brandon.
My name is Nate.
And we want to wish everyone National iPod Day.
iPod?
iPod. Do you know what an iPod is?
I've heard. Yes, I do. Do you know why I know?
Why?
Because my dad worked for Apple Computer for like 25 years.
I knew this.
And you knew this. And there was so many times where we thought Apple was going under until the iPod came out. And it really put Apple on a new level. And now here we are. They're like one of the biggest companies in the world.
That they are.
Which makes me wonder if my dad never would have sold, because he got stock options. So if he never would have touched those stock options and just would have let him ride through his whole career, and even till today, he would have,
especially pre-iPod.
Oh, yeah, he would have he'd be filthy rich, but he did not. I just remember growing up, I think IBM. Do you know IBM?
Mm-hmm.
IBM
That was like
kind of
the
the competitor. Yeah, they were kind of the competitor. Apple really focused on education at the beginning. It was all about being in schools. I don't know if you're old enough to see the old
I'm aware
Apples.
of that fact.
And then even for high school, their computer lab were all the original Macintosh computers, and we were like the only, good heavens, like when I was middle teenagers, a 15, 16-year-old, that's when people kind of started getting computers at home. But growing up, we were basically the only house in the neighborhood who had a computer, and maybe a couple other people, but usually because they worked for computer places.
Right.
But a lot of the neighborhood kids would come to our house if they couldn't finish their computer lab stuff at school. So they'd come to our house to finish it. And then now everybody, and then back as a kid, like Apple was kind of like the crappy in their minds. A lot of the computer nerds are like, oh, Apple sucks.
Right.
I don't think it was till like I went down to college before my mission that there was a couple of people like, oh, I love Apple. Apple's so awesome. Because kind of the beginning of the iPods, I believe, back then. And now you ain't cool. Now they're making fun of people if you don't have an Apple computer, right?
I don't have an Apple computer.
Well, at least an iPhone.
I do have an iPhone.
They don't say like if you don't have an iPhone, it's because you're poor.
Is that what people say?
Well, this one guy says like that they're bullying.
You're the one that
like
ruins the group
Apple's
chat.
a bully. Yeah, because of that, Apple bullies Android users and into wanting to buy a iPhone because then they know that they're poor because they have an Android.
Yeah.
And then some people are going to fight back. We're going to get a comment tomorrow about, I'm not poor and I have an Android. My brother-in-law, that's what he does. He works for Xfinity and he's an Android dude. So he can basically have an app. He have even the phone he wants for probably free, but he's on the Android train.
Yeah.
And I was for a while.
It's fine if you want to have an Android. You ruin the group chat. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You just
So-
I don't want to see your green bubbles. But I think things have changed a little bit because they did allow, and I'm not as into the weeds with this, but something about RCS, and sometimes you can see people with an Android with a blue bubble. I don't know. You can see if they're texting you now. You'll see the bubbles from an Android person. So there have been changes, but it's still not the same. Just get an iPhone.
Have you heard another comedian that talks about how he meets like this really cute girl and then they exchange numbers and then she texts him and it's an Android. He's like, nope. Something along those lines.
I think I've heard that.
So yeah, it's crazy. To me, it's just like, because I grew up around Apple and kind of got made fun of a little bit for liking Apple growing up. And now it's like, you're the cool kid. So we went from being it's just like the movies, right? The unpopular kid all of a sudden becomes the popular kid.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be like him, just like the movies.
Well, back to iPod Day. It's celebrated today, October 23rd, because that is the date that the iPad first came out. October 23rd. Guess the year, Nate. You should know this. You were there.
1997.
Nope.
I don't know. For which one?
The iPod.
iPod? You said iPad.
iPod, sorry. National
Okay.
iPod Day. The iPod came out October 23rd, 2001, and changed the music scene. And I guess other things. But for me, it
Yeah, I think you're right.
changed music in a big way. Made it
Okay.
much more easy to listen to music because before that it was cassettes or CDs. In the blurb here on the site we use says if you are a millennial, me, I'm kind of a lower end millennial. You're a higher end millennial, right? Maybe kind of
Yeah.
Generation X, Generation Millennial type mix. But if you are a millennial, the evolution of your music listening experience has been dramatic to say the least. You started with the cassette, moved on to CDs, dabbled with the Walkman, and finally gravitated towards the iPod. And now you get all your music from Spotify or wherever you get it from. This intense progression is a privilege not many generations can claim. So I wanted to talk about this because I just got back from a music festival called When We Were Young. And a majority of the music I listened to at this festival was music I found when I just had my little iPod. It was just a
Hmm.
bunch of old school bands. I saw Jimmy Eat World.
Hmm.
You've never got to see them. I saw them before you.
I did.
Oh, you did?
No, I did buy tickets to him, but we talked a few times.
Right. You were supposed to go, but you missed it because of 9/11 or
9/11.
something. So I saw Jimmy Eat World.
Security. Oh my gosh.
Who else
Yeah.
would you know? My Chemical Romance was
Hmm.
there.
Yeah.
Taking Back Sunday. Who else would you know from the concert?
Nickelback.
Nope. 2000s era emo. So all the stuff I was listening to on MySpace, and then putting illegally downloading from LimeWire and putting onto my
Yeah,
iPod.
LimeWire is post Napster, right?
Yeah, I was the LimeWire. One of the
Generation.
bands even during one of their sets. Oh, Newfound Glory was there too. You know Newfound Glory. Simple Plan. You know Simple
Hmm.
Plan.
Yeah.
They were there. One of the bands, I think they were selling a T-shirt that said I found out about this band because of LimeWire, or I downloaded this band's album on LimeWire because I think they hadn't even really released the music, and so all these people were telling them they love their music. And they're like, "How do you know?" And they're like, "I downloaded it on LimeWire," or because they had like it was out, but they hadn't released it, but everybody already had it because they hadn't bought
Oh,
it. But their album was one of the first ones I bought, so it was pretty cool to. I was definitely a little old to go to a festival, an all day festival from 10 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. It was a long, long day, but a lot of fun, a lot of good music, and a lot of good times. But iPod was a big reason why music blew up so much during that time. I mean, people would have listened to music without an iPad, but it just made it so much
oh,
easier to
it
listen to
would
it
have.
and take it on the go, you know?
It would have changed my whole teenage career. And I need to back up. So I was thinking iPod came out in late 90s. It was the iMac. I think that kind of really started
Mm,
getting Apple a little bit. And that's when people were like, oh, I love Apple. But it wasn't until the iPod that it just went crazy. Because from 98 till 2001 is when like MP3s really started taking off.
right.
Right in 98 is when you could probably buy a CD burner.
Mm,
Buy, by the way, like a lot of money for a CD burner. And I would have killed for that in my high school days. Um, but I was telling my wife the other day that I had an addiction and I would go to Media Play, if you remember what that is.
hmm
And I would just look, I would buy at least one, if not two CDs, spent $15 to $30 a week buying a CD because I was addicted to music and be able to just like have an iPod with thousands and oh man, it would have been life changing. So my car was a manual stick shift. Do you even know what a case logic is?
Yes.
I would have like
We've
this
talked
big
about
case
this.
logic on my lap, and then you listen to one song on the CD that you wanted, eject it, put it back in the case logic while you're driving
Didn't
stick
even have a
shift.
CD changer,
This was
dude.
before you were text messaging, so I'm really good at text messaging because I'm used to multitasking while
I
I'm
think you've probably
driving.
seen that video where the guy's like, yeah, driving now is so much more dangerous than it was in the
The 90s
90s and 2000s. And it shows a guy fumbling with his CD.
CD, yeah, 100%. So yeah, so a lot of times I learn like all the B sides of a lot of bands because you're just too lazy to change out the CD, and you're like, oh, that's actually pretty good. But I mean, I remember I burned my first CD in probably 98 when I worked at Circuit City, and I thought that was life-changing because I could have like all the songs on one CD that I wanted to listen to.
Same.
And then when I came home and somebody showed me Napster, which is the precursor
LimeWire.
to LimeWire, holy crap, man. And even back then, dial-up internet, it would take a whole night just to download one song,
I
which
would
is
wake up early in the morning before school and just go and download a bunch of stuff on LimeWire so I could
oh,
come
you'd have to
home
put a ton of
later.
your queue because someone wouldn't work, right? And so you'd have
Hmm.
to just keep putting a bunch in your queue so they would just oh, it would have, and it did. I mean, I just spent hours and hours when I got home from my mission just downloading MP3s and whatnot. But
Yeah.
totally would have been life changing. Kids today don't know the pain we
They
went
have
through.
no idea.
So I'm old enough to know like eight tracks was kind of like still in cars when I was a kid. Every once in a while, somebody had an eight tracks player, then
Hmm.
cassette, then CD, and then, well, technically cassette, and then the portable CD player that would skip like crazy when you left it on your car dash, and then CD players in cars. And now, like, you can't even, I don't think you can go buy a car, like a new car with a CD player. Like, they're all Bluetooth,
Aux
right?
cords or Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Even aux cords, not so much just Bluetooth.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
things are
that
changing.
and iPods aren't even a thing anymore. That's the crazy thing. They
Oh,
came out in
yeah. Now those are
2001.
extinct.
They were priced at 399, so they weren't cheap in 2001. But the tagline was 1,000 songs in your pocket. We've come so far from that. Now your phone is your iPod and your phone and your bank and literally everything. And you can have way more than 1,000 songs in your phone. You can have all the songs in the world on your phone.
And this is one way tangent, not even close to an iPod. But I think when I worked for Orange Bang, the guy in the back that probably had a few criminal background things,
Yeah.
and they just always talked in circles and crazy. He was like, so this was early 2000s. He was like, I'm going to invent this machine, like this vending machine that you can rent DVDs. And we're just like, that's the stupidest idea I ever heard. You can't do that. But his idea, he said, like your DVD would like kind of like a poof and disappear or something weird like that.
He was close.
Redbox now, it happened. And Redbox is even out of business now
Oh,
because
is
that's
Red
like
our
such
Red
a,
Box is all gone?
they're done. Like, have you heard like the whole controversy? Like they're gone and they won't pick up their machines. So a lot of businesses are like, oh, if you because they're so freaking heavy and they're still stocked with DVDs.
So we could just
So
go get a bunch of DVDs for free.
yeah, I bet you most businesses will let you if you can take the red box off their location, but it's costing some businesses like thousands of dollars because someone has to come remove it, then they have to repair the damage that from where it was.
Wow.
But yeah, one guy like posted on Facebook like he took one from business, but it was up like three flights of stairs, and he doesn't have any idea how he's going to get down the stairs now. But yeah, they're still chock full of DVDs,
But
and
nobody really wants those. It's not like someone's gonna go and buy all these DVDs
exactly
now.
right. Yeah, you can go buy a brand new DVD at a lot of stores, and even like pawn shops now. They can't. They're a buck maybe, right? To go. So that's what's kind of nice. The pawn shop is now your new Redbox or Blockbuster because it's cheaper to go buy it than it is to rent it, and you can
Right.
just donate it back. Goodwill or
Dang.
something. So yeah, it's just crazy. Times are changing, man. What's the next big thing? That's the question. What's going to be the new iPod? Or
Oh,
is
I mean, if we knew, we wouldn't be here. How soon until you can just click something on your screen and you have like food or something? Is that
like three
ever,
3D print food? Is
yeah, is
that what
that
you're
ever going to
saying?
be a thing? Or you can talk
I
to
don't
somebody
know.
on the phone and you can, smell and I don't know. I don't have any guess as to what would be the next thing.
well, I've been saying for about 10 years now that my mom's generation and maybe your parents, no, your parents are too young. But my mom's generation the baby boomers have a really hard time giving up their landline in their house because
Hmm.
that's something they've always grown up with is having a landline. My mom finally just got rid of her landline. Because you don't need it when you have a cell phone, right? My generation and maybe your generation is going to be really hard for us to not have a car
Mm.
because there's going to be, and I think Tesla's already on their way to doing it. And it's kind of cool because
Self-driving.
self-driving. So you're just going to have an app on your phone, right? And you say you need a car. So like the cool thing is too about our generation, we still own a car and we own like an electric Tesla or something. When we're not using our Tesla, we can throw it into the pool to make us money. So the car can go out there and start making you money like Uber when you're not using it. But yeah,
I saw a self-driving car in Vegas.
there you go. So yeah, so that down the line, I think that's going to be like when we get older, that's going to be a thing. And um, having your driver's license is going to kind of, I don't know, be a thing of the past eventually. So that's my prediction. That's the new thing is just a bunch of self-driving cars.
Yeah.
So when we listen to this 30 years from now, you're like, didn't
Back
Aunt
in
have some?
my day, I needed a car to get around.
I mean, yeah,
I
well,
had
our
to
parents
own a
say
car
that.
to get around.
Well, our parents had to say, I told you this, but now everything we say is recorded. And so we can say, yeah, I did predict this. I got proof. So that's all I want to talk about today.
Yeah, same. That's all we have to say. This has been a long introduction, probably because we're trying to avoid
We have not a lot to say about the topic. And yes.
not a lot to talk about today.
Well, here's the deal, though. I don't
Yep.
know if we can talk about it because I feel like we're depriving our audience the
Mm,
chance to know what it feels like to watch this movie for the first time.
fair.
And we don't
And
want to
for
spoil
free.
it.
You don't even have to pay. It's so
That's the
easy.
best thing. I actually was thinking that yesterday I was watching is finally we have a movie that
If you can't
you
find
don't
this
have to
movie,
borrow, rent, zero money out of pocket.
steal, you don't have to steal it from Redbox.
Or LimeWire for that matter.
You can just click on your YouTube and you can find this movie.
So as long as you
If
have
that
internet
tells
access.
you at all how good quality this movie is, it didn't even have ads. There weren't even ads attached to this.
This is true. I kept waiting for one.
This is how quality of a movie you have on your hands in this episode.
It was fun though, the first 30 seconds, because I think like the company who put it on YouTube does like VH movies to YouTube. Is that what anyways? So it was kind of fun to like a little bit nostalgic for me to like, oh yeah, this is what it used to sound like when you put in a VHS tape and the quality and all that good stuff. But that was the highlight of the whole movie.
That was the highlight.
Ooh, are we gonna read reviews?
We have to.
If you go to IMDb,
Okay.
it said on the Google page when you're on the Google search, it says 137,
16 and 6.
but
Or
here's my yeah.
137 ratings. I do see 137 ratings on
How
this
about
movie.
so do we want to talk about the movie or do we really want to give people a chance to watch it themselves?
I yeah, I think you're right.
I feel like
People just need to watch this
we need
one.
to
This
watch it.
we need to
We need to
watch it.
watch it. But
There
how
are a
about we
couple
give them
things I want to point out about the movie. Some of my favorite, and I almost want to include. No, I probably shouldn't because it's a big
go.
spoiler. A
Here we
big
go.
spoiler. Except the title itself is a spoiler.
Is it though, really?
It is.
Is it?
I, I guess.
Okay. So let's not give away. Here's the plot to the movie or the summary on IMDb. Local teenagers are holding a Halloween party at a supposedly haunted old mill, but find out that one of the partygoers who was dressed as an alien is actually a real alien. That's it. That's all it says.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And the adventure begins from there. So I couldn't tell, without giving the plot away, I couldn't tell, like, is this a scary movie? Is this like a ghost scary movie? Is this an alien movie? What is this? But it was fun.
Still don't know.
I still don't know what we just watched. So I think I was probably a half hour into it because I was like, oh, I need to watch this. And my wife came home and she was just shaking her head like, what the crap are you
What
watching?
did Brandon make you watch
I
this
don't think she
time?
even knew that. I think she probably thought, because every once in a while I start
You were
watching some weird movies.
just
I
picked
don't
this of
think
your own volition.
she may or may not know that I was watching this for the podcast because she was just like, what? And I said, well, it's about the old mill. Like it's really cool because it has some footage from 19, probably 77, 78 is when it came out. So I'm assuming they probably filmed it in 77. So the old mill was still really intact back then.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see a lot of like Utah things and see the old mill and see some cool footage of what it looked like back then.
Yeah. That's the best part about it is seeing the old Utah, but mostly the old mill. And I mean I couldn't pick out the other places where it's filmed, but
But and
definitely
then okay,
the old mill.
again, we're not gonna go really into the plot, but I thought the only way to explain this is if you're in high school and you're taking a film class and your teacher says you've got 1 week to make a movie and you have to do everything. That's what this movie is. Because the acting is worse than a state church
Roadshow.
roadshow. It was there was a couple of people in there, and I'm like, especially the beginning guy, the drunk guy or whatever. I'm like, okay, he did pretty good.
Yeah.
And then the main character guy, every once in a while, I'm like, good acting, and then it was just horrible acting. It was so it sounded like people were reading the script as they were performing. Like even like Saturday Night Live does a better job because they do at least dress rehearsals, right? And they are reading off the cue card. But it was bad.
It gave me a
Bad
lot of
acting.
confidence, to be honest, that we could put something like this
Oh,
together.
100%.
We
100%. And then
we
I'm
could
like, oh,
do
with the
this.
technology we have nowadays, I bet our iPhones, going back to the iPhone,
Hmm?
our iPhone could do a much better quality film than what they, and I get it. They were probably limited back then on what
It's a
they
long time
could do.
ago.
But the storyline, the screenplay,
The logic.
the logic, the alien, teen alien, which we already, it was like, his acting was probably the worst. I'm
Oh,
like,
so
oh,
bad.
so bad. It was
It kind of has
it was
two.
awful.
It kind of has two names. So
Yeah,
it's
which I
called
didn't quite understand.
Teen Alien and also the Vero Mission. So,
But I think it first came out as the Viral Mission, right?
probably.
And then they changed the name.
And I do have to give a shout out to the other show, another podcast we've had. We did a joint podcast with them for the 24th of July, right? They were the ones that told me about this movie. They were nice enough to even share the link. So I'll share the link, the YouTube link to this in the description, like they did, because you just got to watch it.
So did
Maybe
they
we
talk about it on their
maybe we do a
podcast?
two. Yeah, they talked about how Josh, who brought it up, he said that a lot of the legends and things about the old mill came from this movie, or that's
Mm,
why it even started to people even started to say that it was haunted was because of this movie. So I don't know. I don't know if
interesting.
that's true, but I thought that was
But then
interesting.
again, is it haunted or is it aliens? What is it? What's the difference?
You know what? That's for the viewer to find out for themselves.
But yeah, just overall,
Maybe we do a part two after everybody's watched this. All of our listeners can
yes,
say,
yes.
check, it's been watched. Now talk about it. But then again, I don't know if I want to talk about it
Okay,
again.
okay, okay. So to show you how bad Harry Potter is, I actually watched this in one sitting. So
That's not fair.
I didn't have to like, yeah. So
I
even
watched it in double
it's more it
speed.
was more entertaining to me than watching Harry Potter.
I watched it in double speed while working.
And I
Okay.
thought, like, I thought about that, but I was watching it on my TV, and I don't know. It probably does have that feature, but it was,
I'll come show you, mate.
well, I know how to do it on my computer if I watch it on my phone,
Right.
but I was worried too, and which you sounds like you had issues with it, is that watching it in double speed, it was hard enough to understand and see in regular speeds, I think. But then again, it probably wouldn't have mattered. I probably would have had the same understanding of what just happened.
Yeah, probably.
But I do have a question. The high school they go to, is that Jordan High School, the old
I
Jordan High
don't know.
School?
I'm not sure.
I I feel like it is. So somebody needs to watch it who went to Jordan, the old Jordan High School,
You
which is
got to
now
be
Jordan Commons.
really old
Well, you
to.
think about it, Jordan Commons left the front of the building of Jordan Commons, kind of like a
Oh, that's.
tribute to. So it
Oh,
looked
I
to
didn't
me
know
like
that.
that. Yeah. So on State Street is the
Oh,
old front of Jordan High School.
that's cool. We
So
need to do
it
an
looked
episode
to
on
me
that.
we should. We should. So I've been to the old Jordan High School. I played a couple basketball games and had a football practice there, but I'm pretty sure it was. I'm guessing it was Jordan High School. It'd make more sense. I don't know what else. I mean, I don't know. Maybe back in the late 70s was Brighton around, but that would probably be the closest school to the old mill,
I need to ask
or
my
even
parents. I wonder if
or
I'm
even
sure
like
they saw this
Skyline.
movie.
So that's my question. So somebody who went to Jordan High School, the old Jordan High School, not the new one, the newer one, let us know if that was Jordan High School. But yeah, acting was, I'm pretty sure all of them went on to win Oscars and all sorts of award shows,
All the accolades.
all the accolades that comes along with acting. I'm pretty sure some of them made them really big. Pretty sure Tom Cruise was in this movie, but
It's so bad. You just have to watch it.
seriously, it's yeah. And I
Can
was when I was watching it, did you have any like flashbacks to Trolls 2? Did it
mm,
feel, but I feel like Trolls 2 was even done better than this. That's how bad this movie is. So this could probably be the best, worst movie ever.
yeah, I'm curious how big this thing actually was, you know? I mean,
Are
it's
you ready
never
for,
got to the levels of Troll 2 or The Room, those best worst movies, you know?
yeah,
But this is if maybe there's a little bit more effect to it, a little more budget, it might have been there. But
yeah.
it really does feel like people went into their
It was like either
parents got their
a
parents'
college
camera.
project or a high school, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's like very, very amateur.
And on the off chance we have somebody that was in it or somebody that gets wind that we talk so much smack on this, I'm sure they'd agree. But also, it's a masterpiece for what it is too.
100%. And like I
We're
said, the worst case scenario, you get to see some cool footage of the old mill.
we're not gonna talk about it. I do want to share a couple quotes from the movie, if I could, and then I think we should read some reviews.
All right.
I don't remember if you. I don't know if you recall this scene. There's a character named Tiny, and of course he's not tiny. He's a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
This was the screen grab I got
Yeah, yeah, I remember who he
when he's
is.
making the funny face. They said nobody makes a better monster than Tiny, and then he just makes these terrible faces. I'm gonna play the audio from one of my favorite parts of the movie.
George!
Can you hear it?
George! Heard something downstairs. What? Something. Come on, let's get out of here.
Isn't that like
I heard something
seriously?
downstairs.
It
A
seriously
noise.
sounds like even junior high kids like reading a screenplay to their play they're going to be doing. Like my daughter's school can put on a much better, and she's in junior high, by the way, a much better production, or they can act so much better than the people in this one did.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Pretty bad. Let's read some reviews. You got
Uh, um, the
got any
one
good
that like
ones?
this one's like way confusing because it says the what do you call it? Subject line says a classic exclamation point, but it's 1 out of 10 stars. So the classic, if you have absolutely nothing better to do, This includes watching paint dry and grass grow. Having said that, I have a soft spot for this. I saw it when I was 7 or 8 in the theater for my birthday
That's
party.
made it to
For our
theaters.
birthday party. Well, yeah, that's how old seven some. Yeah, they're 10 years older than me. One of the members was even sitting in front of us. The old mill in the movie is used at Halloween as a spook alley, so I have been through it once. The old mill in the movie is used, or I guess
It
it
used
was
to be,
used.
right? It
Yeah.
used to be a
So I
spook
wonder
alley.
when they wrote this. 2005.
Dang.
This is the worst movie I've seen and probably ever will. But a few years ago, I got thinking about it and managed to get myself a copy of it. So I am the proud owner of the worst movie ever made. If you can find it, watch it once. Then any movie you see after won't be too bad.
You should have watched this before Harry Potter. Yeah, I don't know why you would give it a 1 out of 10 if you still have that, I guess, nostalgia for it. That's got to give it at least a couple points, right?
Yeah, but I think you're admitting that it's good if you give it more than that.
That's true.
Um,
You don't want to mislead people thinking this is a truly a classic.
Somebody talks about how they had a VHS copy of the unedited version, or before it was edited, so unedited.
Uh-huh.
But he um knew people. Wait, hold on. It says one night my friend Tom Ruff invited me up to the old mill because he was doing sound on a local movie. I showed up just as they were ready to shoot. The guy they lined up to be the creature in the in this
Baby.
baby showed up bombed. What?
I think they're
The
saying
direct
the guy who showed up for this baby, this great film
oh,
bombed.
the director exploded on him and told him to take a hike. He then was in a panic because he had the whole crew there and no monster. After glancing around to see who was available and not already on the job, he brought this great latex suit over to me and said, "Looks like it will fit." I spent the next 7 hours in a rubber suit jumping off railings, chasing brats, and getting spray paint in my big red eyes. The premise of this plot was there that plot was there, but after you hear the 500th Chad, where are you? It's time to see what is on HGTV. Is that what you just showed us a clip of, Chad
I think he's saying Greg. Maybe he's saying
or
Chad.
Greg? All those cops were real cops, and Tiny was really that big. Well, of course. The best effect in the film is the flashing thing that is rotating in the monster's changing chamber is a record player turned upside down with some plastic tubes glued to it. For many years, my daughter was scared of the part when my head explodes. Fun times, signed the creature from Varro.
That's pretty cool though that he came on and commented.
But some guy says, in all my years of watching movies, and I've seen thousands, this is the worst, most terrible, sad, pathetic, pitiable, confusing, and generally so screwed up, it must be a joke movie I've ever seen. For context, here are some other bad movies: The Meat Eater, Space Mutiny, and Platoon. Really? Yes, that Platoon. But this is the worst. I came across the film in a bargain bin at Blockbuster Video Store in Toronto. It came with 2 free rentals. The other bargain box films I got included a seasonal highlight video for the 1990 Houston Rockets and the best of Victor Borge, which was awesome. But this movie was a terrible mistake. It haunts me to this day. It's the worst movie ever made and always will be, with no hyperbole or modernist sarcasm. It's not even a movie, as far as I can tell.
This one's kind of cool. I love this movie and own both versions. So I guess there's 2 versions of this movie. So we might need to track down the other version. There's Teen Alien and then there's Vero Mission. So I guess they're different.
Maybe. I don't know how they could be.
They said it
But
took me
this,
years to track down both versions. eBay is your best bet for trying to find any out of print videos. I'm not a fanatic of this movie. I'm just married to the Vero male. So the guy who played the monster and his wife both commented on this movie. They're 2 of the
oh,
commenters. So that's kind of fun. She said, and gives more context, my hubby was one of the few guys in the Jordan High School Drama Club that was chosen to act in this movie. They weren't even going to pay these kids until one of them found out and left after the filming had already started, and they had to refilm all the stuff he had been in. I brought them to I bought them to show our family, friends, and to show our daughter that it's okay to act weird sometimes. So there you go. There's your proof that it was Jordan High where they were filming it, because they were from Jordan. It had to be.
Yeah, there you go. Never mind. Somebody says, what a waste of time. The acting was so bad. I thought I was watching my old high school's bad attempts at serious drama. So there we go. The story seemed to take itself way too seriously. It had no humor, bad makeup, and I thought I was watching a forest because of all the wooden objects that were trying to act. Avoid this if you can, and many of you will. No,
Yeah,
you can't. The
don't
curiosity is going to
avoid
kill a
it.
cat, right?
You should have watched this movie. Like,
Somebody gave it 5 out of 10. Said it was a fun movie.
it's campy. Yeah, that's what they said. That's agreed. It's campy. You got a big reveal at the end. It's fun. I don't know.
Someone
I
says this
enjoyed.
isn't, sorry, this isn't so bad if you know it was made mostly by teenagers. You
Fair.
kind of just read into that, right?
Yeah.
Mind you, teenagers back in 1978 with not all the access to all the media we have now.
Yes. That was an interesting point, that there was no humor. There really wasn't anything that was trying to be funny in this movie. They skimmed on the humor, that's for sure.
Did
You've
you
got
see the one? Sorry.
yet another person commenting, and they were in the movie. This was from 2009, so not that long ago. I would love to, if any of these people happen to hear this podcast, we'd love to talk to them about this movie. So everybody share this podcast so we can reach these people that are in this movie and get all the details, get the tell all. Let's take back everything we said. This is the best movie I have ever seen.
We want to make a where are they now?
Where are they now? We want to do a Teen Alien reunion party. Okay. At the old mill, probably not, but that would be pretty cool too. Just to hear from someone there. I played Ray in the ultra low budget film on the weekend movie on the weekend. At the time of filming, I was a freshman in high school. I was also a charismatic but troubled foster child. Thus, my last name in the credits is Hamlin. Originally, I was supposed to be the co-star of the movie, but partway through the filming of the movie, I was remanded to Mawida Youth Correctional Facility for possession of marijuana. Oh, interesting. So I guess they had to kill me off. Believe it or not, I have never seen this film. After this, I moved to Southern California and became a professional skateboarder. This was a fun time in my life. I got away to the big city for the weekends and stayed stoned and bombed on the cameraman's Jim Beam most of the time. So maybe he was the original monster, but wasn't in much of it because he was the one that was high all the time. I don't know. Either way, if there's any chance somebody listens to this, somebody finds out about this, and you were in this movie, please let us know. We would love to talk to you and do a part 2 of this masterpiece. There are also critic reviews. If you want to search extra hard, it takes you to different websites that have reviewed it. Some of them are you can't find anymore, but one of them is from the Deseret News. They reviewed it, called it a glorified horror movie. I wouldn't call it glorified, but they talk about how great it was that it was filmed in Salt Lake. And this is kind of cool to see this old article, actually. For one thing, the film which was made in Salt Lake by Utahns and featuring Utahns, has some outstanding photography. For another, it fulfills the description of its producer. It is a scary picture that is a lot of fun. The dialogue, however, is not equal to the photography in quality, and its beginning scene, a drunk fixing himself a drink and staggering around, is so long they could lose an audience at the start. Yeah, that's a good point.
I know. I was like, oh, this is the longest. They could have cut 10 minutes out. It was a long intro. I think it was
It
like
was
15 minutes.
it was long. However, it has some special effects of a spaceship that are outstanding, considering the producer did the show on a shoestring budget, I'm assuming. The film premiered at Centerpoint at a benefit for the March of Dimes. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It had started a regular It has started a regular engagement today at several theaters. For anyone who has ever wondered what the old mill at the approach to Big Cottonwood looks like, this film furnishes the answer. The camera pokes into every nook and cranny of this building, which was built as a paper mill in pioneer days and has had many other uses over the years. I'm going to see if there's just any more details about it. The picture took 2.5 years to make,
No way.
according to executive producer Jim Crofts, who recalled that it required a lot of work to finance it and to cast it with purely Salt Lake High School performers. Although their acting is a little stalled at times, for the most part, they are natural and some ham up a scene effectively.
Wow.
Let's see. The cameraman has turned a camera job that is equal of any Hollywood production. The shots of Salt Lake's east side of the mountains and Old Mill are superb. Likewise, the photography and special effects. The screenplay, let's see. The exciting musical background and effects were by Jeff Osler, Phil Davis, and a bunch of other people, blah, 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 blah. The governor was at the premiere. The Lieutenant Governor David Monson at the premiere commended the company for the production and made some awards. It did win awards, Nate. He made some awards. Featured players include, so list some of the people that were in the movie. One of them went on a mission halfway through production. Yeah, that's pretty cool to see the article about it. There you go. That article gave us some interesting insights. And maybe we should back up a little bit. I mean, this is from, not only was it a shoestring budget, but it was made in the late 70s. So
I wasn't even born yet.
you weren't
That's how
even
old
born.
it is.
It's that old. So again, we love this movie. If you were in it or a part of it, please reach out. We'd love to talk to you. It's so good. I'm gonna probably watch it.
Well, hold on. It's so bad. It's good.
It's so bad that it's good. I'm gonna probably watch it 100 more times before Halloween.
Oh, it's definitely gonna go in my what do you call it?
Yearly
My
rotation.
rotation
Yeah,
of movies to watch
it's a
during
good
Halloween
one.
season. I'm gonna have to boot out Charlie Brown and the Pumpkin or whatever. That one's gone now.
The Great
This one's
Pumpkin.
The Great Pumpkin. Definitely gonna be this one. And I can't wait for the sequel, which we're kind of wondering is the new Alien movie that one of
Alien Country.
Alien Country that some we've had on our podcast.
What we really should do is get all these actors back together, and you and I should make the remake of this movie.
Ooh.
I think we could do it. There will be no
My
pay.
wife and I have come out of plenty movies, especially scary ones. We like the scary movies. And we're like, man, we could have made a much better movie than that. So I think it's time that we test our theory that we can make a better movie than Hollywood.
To be fair, I say we could do it. We probably can't. It's probably so hard to make a movie. I know it's hard. So I'm not disparaging those that try and don't do a great job, but it gives you a little bit of hope that you could come up with better dialogue and better structure to a movie than some of these terrible movies you see. Just maybe, Nate. Maybe you should quit your job for a year and
Sounds like a good idea.
we should make movies. Probably would have to quit mine too.
Isn't it fun though that two of the worst movies ever made were made here in Utah?
It is fun.
So is there another movie out there?
I hope we have more. One of our
that's just
movies
as
we
bad?
thought about, I don't think it's terrible, but we thought about watching Carnival of Souls, and that's a very old movie, black and white type movie. Maybe that one's bad too. Maybe that's another bad movie. I have a feeling it's better than this one, though.
We're gonna have to wait till next year.
I mean, Hereditary was made here. That's a pretty bad movie.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of, yeah, that's another movie that we walked out of going
that's
like,
gotta
but
be
I did
our-
not know. I think I told you. I did not know that was made in Utah, but when we watched it in the movie theater, and I'm looking at the Home Depot going, that looks awfully familiar. I'm like, oh, that looks like the Park City Home Depot. And then I Googled it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this was made here.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about it. I just remember thinking, oh man, this is bad.
Oh my gosh, I'm never gonna watch this again.
And then
here
it's
we
somehow
are.
like then it's somehow showing up on people's like top 10 list for best like horror movies. I'm like, what did I miss?
I don't know what it is.
Somebody's got to tell me that somebody's listening. One of our 20 listeners is a fan of the movie, and they'll help us navigate to
We're just not
understand.
artsy enough. See,
That's what
this
I felt
movie,
like.
Hereditary, Midsommar, The Witch, all those movies make it on the top list these days.
Yes.
We're just not artsy enough, but all those movies are just so messed up. Every one of them is so messed up. Have you seen The Witch?
Yeah, but it's not
We
messed
talked
up
about
in a
that
good
one
way.
before
Have I seen that one? I think I've seen that
with
one,
the
right?
goat.
I think so.
That one's bad.
What'd you say? The Midsummer? What is it called?
Midsommar.
Yeah, that one too was awful. But you're right. It's just like you just said, artsy is the only way to put it. And then it's like, do I not get it? Am I not like, because I'm not a drama person that I don't understand it?
I'm excited
But-
to watch Hereditary again. We're gonna watch it next year. We're gonna make Matt watch it. We're gonna do it.
Do we have to wait?
We're gonna
till
make
next
ourselves
October?
watch it. Can we look away?
We can
So
watch it
bad.
before October, right? Because we have to now watch what'd you just say, Carnival of Souls?
And we have to do a part 2 of. We have to find the other copy of this movie of the alien.
Yeah, so we might have to
Teen
watch
Alien.
Hereditary before then. Want to
Maybe we
fit it
could.
in.
We can fit it
Maybe
in.
maybe we should do that during Sundance. That'll be our Sundance film.
We'll be artsy for a minute. We should do a
Yes.
bunch of artsy movies filmed in Utah during Sundance season. I will say one last thing. I don't think this movie got the recognition it deserved because it was in theaters the same time as The Holy Grail.
Yeah,
So-
it got drowned out.
If Holy Grail hadn't come out when it did, this might have taken over Holy Grail's place in pop culture and deservedly on people's list for one of the great comedy movies.
Have I already told you I'm not a fan of the Holy Grail?
Really?
Like that was a movie like everybody would want to watch in high school. And even till
You
this
just
day,
watch it too much?
no, I fall asleep every time. I don't think I've seen it from start to finish. It's too long. But I'll have to admit there are some very
Very quotable.
quotable scenes in it, but I think overall it's hard to watch for me from start to finish.
Mm.
I like the whole Facebook reel type stuff where you just get clips of here and there. Like, yeah, that is funny. But watching
Yeah.
the whole movie, you're like, so my wife loves it. I think she made my son watch it the other day too. But
That's a good one. I think that's a really good movie.
yeah, there's a lot of quotable and yeah, good scenes in it. But overall, it's not like I want to pop that in
Yeah. Makes sense.
and watch it over and over. And I still don't know if I've seen it I think I've seen the whole movie. I just don't know if I've watched it from start to finish
Right.
or been able to. But
Well,
I
tell
somehow
us-
got through this movie.
You got to
I
this
did
one.
it.
For
I
the
did it.
sake
I
of the
watched it.
podcast, not even in double speed.
I'm not even sure if I even paused it at any time. So I might have watched it from start to finish.
Another thing I just noticed.
No, I did. I kept pausing it. You know why I kept pausing it?
Why?
I'm like, How much time is left in this stupid movie?
It's so long.
So it wasn't like, yeah, so that's why I paused it for a couple seconds. Like, oh my gosh, I still have like 45 minutes. Wow.
Here,
That's
I know the date this movie came out. This was over the weekend, right? So it probably came out. Let's get our nifty calendar out.
What are you talking about?
We're going back in time. 1978.
Oh, did you know the October 21st was Back to the Future Day?
I did know that.
I did go. I even went and saw Back to the Future 2 with my son in theaters.
1955.
Yep. Rocky and I went and watched Back to the Future 2 in the theaters last weekend. Then he was mad at me because we did go watch it on October 21st. I'm like, sorry.
How could you?
You can watch it at home then.
I lost it. But it says this paper is from November 17, 1978. So this came out after Halloween.
Huh.
I mean, it should have come out before, but what do I know?
It's kind of like The Simpsons when they do their Treehouse of Horror or whatever, and it always seems to come out the week after Halloween.
That's true. That's very true. So it was like the first Sunday after Halloween.
Yeah.
But again, we can't recommend enough that you go watch this movie yourself. We couldn't risk spoiling any of it because you just need to experience it. And please let us know what you think. And
we will pay for your rental on YouTube.
We will give in the description of this episode. We will give you a link.
Free link.
Give you free access. No ad. You'll have to watch, and you can just watch this movie straight through. And honestly, I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Or will you be disappointed?
Let us know what you think. Thanks for listening to This Is a Place podcast.
And this was a bad movie we just talked about.